This conference will now be recorded.
Right, let's start. Right, so yesterday we have discussed how to create the database table using direct data types. Okay, so let me open that table. Right, so if you go to Abap dictionary SC11, what is the table we created yesterday? Z830 EMP. We created client independent table. Since it doesn't have client field, MANDT field, we are calling it as what? Client independent table. And these table fields we have created by using direct data types. So we already know the minimum settings required for creating the database table. So after configuring these settings, the table gets created, and we have seen how to insert the data, delete the data, migrate the how to insert, delete, and update the data. How do we do it? Utilities menu, table contents, create entries. This is the navigation you have to follow for inserting or even for updating also. Will once the data is displayed, once the data is displayed here, whichever record you want to update, you will select that record. You'll choose table entry and you'll say what? Change. Okay, but who is going to maintain this table in the production system? By the end user, by the client team. So end users are going to maintain this particular table. Maintaining the table is nothing but they are going to insert, delete, update the data. Am I clear? Right, one second. Right. So here, so for testing purpose, we have seen how to insert, delete, or modify the data, all those things. But in the production system, end user has to maintain the table. Okay, so in order to maintain the table, we have to generate the what? Table maintenance. Understood? We have to generate the table maintenance. So let's see how to generate the table maintenance. So whenever we generate the table maintenance, some screens gets generated. Okay, by using that screens, end user can start maintaining the table. I repeat once again, for every custom table that we create, we must generate what? Table maintenance. So whenever a table maintenance is generated, SAP will generate what? Some screens. SAP will generate some screens. Using that screens, end user can start maintaining the tables. Am I clear? So let us see how to generate the table maintenance. Before generating the table maintenance, we require one function group. Already somewhere we discussed about function group, where we discussed if you want to create any custom function modules, first we have created what? Function group. Once a function group is created, we can store any number of what? Function models. Now, why this function group is required for table maintenance is, while generating the table maintenance, one of the thing we have to provide is what? Function group. So as part of that function group, all the dependent objects gets what? Stored. So whenever we generate the table maintenance, some dependent objects gets generated, like it generates some function models, it generates some screens, it generates some subroutines. Okay, it generates some include programs. All those dependent objects will be stored in the function group that we provide. I repeat once again, this is important. For every custom table we create, we must generate the table maintenance. Whenever we generate the table maintenance, some screens gets generated. Using these screens, end user can start maintaining the table. While generating the table maintenance, we need to provide what? Function group. The purpose of the function group is all the dependent objects related to the table maintenance will be stored in the function group. So what is my requirement now? I want to generate what? Table maintenance for this particular custom table Z830MP. So I require one function group now. I can consider the existing function group which we have created at the time of creating the function module. I can choose that, but just to understand the concept clearly, let me create a new function group. Am I clear? I can consider existing custom function groups, but to understand the concept clearly, I am going for a new function group. So where do we create the function group? SC18, and already we know whenever a function group is created, two include programs gets created. What are they? One include ending with xxx, another include ending with what? Top, right? So let me create the function group. I'll go to SC80 object navigator. Yeah, in the drop down, what you have to choose? Function group, and here you have to provide the function group name. Okay, let me provide the name of the function group as Z830. Some name I'll give Z830 table maintenance function group. So what is the name I give? Z830 TMF group. Some name Z830 TMF group. I'll press enter. When I press enter, yeah, it is giving a message. Function group Z830 TMF group does not exist. Create the object. Yes, I'll provide the description here. Some description. Table maintenance function group, some description. Save your function group. Let us save it in local object. So function group got created, and along with the function group, two include programs gets created. One is top include program, another is what? UXX include. Both the include programs at this stage are blank. So before we start using this function group, let us activate it. Right click on this, activate the function group. Yeah, function group got activated. Now let us generate the table maintenance. Okay, so while generating the table maintenance, we have to provide something called as authorization group. Authorization group. So let us understand what is that authorization group. See, what is that authorization group is? Authorization group is a collection of what users who are authorized to maintain the object. So something like this here. So the meaning of authorization group is, so all the developments you'll do it in what? Development client, then we'll transport it to what? Quality client. From quality client you'll transport it to a production client. So assume that we have created some table like a Z830 EMP. Some table I created, Z830 EMP is a name of the table which is transported to what? A production system. Okay, assume that this is the name of the table which is transported to production system Z830 EMP. So in the production system, assume that you'll have n number of users. Okay, Assume that there are 5 users. Each user will have what? Their own user ID and what? Password. Okay. Assume that the user IDs are ABC, PQR, LMN, SAP user, and what is the other username? Gensoft. I repeat, in the production system, assume that there are 5 users who are having permission to log on to a production system. Okay. Now my customer will say that out of these 5 users, only 3 users should have the permission to maintain the table. Am I clear? Suppose uh, you are some 20 what participants attending this batch. Out of 20, only 5 users should have the permission to maintain the table. So each user will have their user ID. Na? So out of these 5 users, I should give access only to these 3 users. So what the basis consultant will do is he will create something called as authorization group. Understood? He will create something called as authorization group. How to create it is a job of the basis consultant, but we will also discuss somewhere to create our own authorization group. But generally, the authorization groups are created and maintained by who? By the administrator, by the basis consultant. So the basis consultant will create the authorization group, and to this authorization group, he will assign the users. Out of 5 users, he will assign only 3 users. To this particular authorization group ZXYZ, only 5 users are assigned. This select blue color what users they are assigned to what this particular authorization group. This authorization group we have to specify at the time of generating what table maintenance. Understood? So what is the authorization group? Authorization group is a collection of what users who are authorized to maintain the tables. There are n number of users who are having access to production system. Out of many users, only few users should have the permission to maintain the table. Only few users should have the permission to maintain the table. So that users will be assigned to what authorization group. So who will create this authorization group? By the basis consultant. Who will assign the users to this authorization group? By the basis consultant. Our job is only to provide that particular authorization group at the time of generating the table maintenance. Okay, so 2 things we have discussed so far. What are they? While generating the table maintenance, we have to specify what function group and you have to specify what authorization group. What is the purpose of specifying function group? The dependent objects related to the table maintenance will be stored in that particular function group. And authorization group is nothing but what? It is a collection of users who are having permission to maintain the table. So apart from this authorization group and function group, we have to specify one more thing called as maintenance type. Maintenance type. So maintenance type will have either of the two values, either one step or what? Two step. Understood? Maintenance type will be of what? Two steps, either one step or what? Will be of what? Either of the two values, either one step or two step. What is the difference between one step and two step? In one step, only one screen gets generated. In that screen only, I can perform all the CRUD operations. I can create the record, read the record, update the record, and delete the record. In case of two-step, two screens gets generated. In one screen, I can insert the record. In other screen, I can perform the rest of the operations like modification, deletion, and reading the data. That is viewing the data. Okay, so this is something like this. Maintenance type can be either what? One step or what? Two step. In one step, only one screen gets generated called as what? Overview screen. In that overview screen only, I can perform all the operations, creating the record, deleting the record, modifying the record, as well as viewing the content of the record. In two step, two screens gets generated. One is overview screen, another is what? Single screen. In single screen, I can insert the record. In overview screen, I can perform the other operations like delete, modify, and what? View. Delete, modify, and what? Right. So basically, they are the three things you have to specify at the time of generating the table maintenance. What are those three things? Authorization group, function group, and what? Maintenance type. Authorization group is a collection of users who are having access, who are having permission to maintain the table. Function group will store all the dependent objects related to a table maintenance. And maintenance type, we can provide either one step or two step. In one step, only one screen gets generated called as overview screen, in which I can perform all the four operations. In two step, two screens get generated, overview screen and single screen. In single screen, I can insert the record. In overview screen, I can perform the other three operations: delete, modifying, and what? Viewing the data. Yeah, any questions so far? No questions? Okay, so let us start generating the table maintenance. Acha, before I do that, one second. Yeah, I need to re-log in. Yeah, so what is the table? Z830 EMP is a table. Okay, for this table, I want to generate the table maintenance. So as of now, we have not generated. So without generating the table maintenance, I'll try to maintain the table. So how do you maintain the table means we have SM30. We have a T code called as SM30 for maintaining the table. T code for maintaining the table. Understood? Maintaining the database table. So I have not generated the table maintenance, but still I'll go to SM30 for maintaining the table. So I'll go to SM30, right? If you go to SM30, it is asking me the table slash view name. Which table you want to maintain? Z830 EMP. Na? So I'll give Z830 EMP. Provide the table name, the custom table name. Click on the maintain button. So when I click on the maintain button, good. I got a message in the status bar. What is the message here? The maintenance dialog for Z830 MP is incomplete or not defined. So what is the meaning of this message? There is no table maintenance available for this table. So if there is no table maintenance, I cannot maintain that table using what? SM30. I can use SM30 only if the table maintenance is available. So first of all, let us generate the table maintenance and then we'll maintain it by using what? SM30. So how do we generate the table maintenance? Open your table in SC11, either in display mode or change mode. Open your table either in display mode or change mode. I'll go to display mode. Yeah, I'll choose the menu what? Utilities, table maintenance generator. So I'm trying to generate table maintenance. Utilities menu, table maintenance generator. Yeah, it is asking authorization group. So what is that I told about authorization group? Authorization group is a collection of what? Collection of users who are having permission to maintain the table. But at this stage, we don't know where to create the authorization group and how to create the authorization group. In the real time, it is generally created by whom? By the basis consultant, and the basis consultant itself will assign the required users to that particular authorization group. So at this stage, we have not created any authorization group, but compulsory we have to provide the authorization group, then only I can generate the table maintenance. So since we don't know how to create the authorization group at this stage, for practice purpose, you provide the authorization group as when you browse this, when I press F4 or click on that icon, we have the authorization group ampersand NC ampersand. What is the description here? Without authorization group. So for practice purpose, choose what? Ampersand NC ampersand, which indicates what? Without authorization group, means there is no restriction. Any user can maintain the table. But in the real time, we have to coordinate with the basis consultant, and we have to browse for that particular authorization group whichever the basis consultant has created, and you have to provide that particular authorization group. So since we don't have, I am giving it as what? Ampersand NC ampersand, which indicates what? Without authorization group, any user can maintain the table. Done. Then there is something called the authorization object. We'll talk about that wherever required. Leave it. Then it is asking what? Function group, right? It is asking for the function group. I'll give the function group name as, observe this carefully. I'll give the function group, I'll browse for this. What is the function group? Just now I created Z830 TMF group. Na? So I can browse and I can check for that particular function group. So I want to check for the function group starting with what? Z830 star. I'll say Z830 star, continue. No further entries were found. It is not recognizing. Let me give directly Z830 TMF group. No further entries are found. So it is not giving me that. Okay. It is stored in $TMP only, no? $TMP. What is the function group? Z830 star. I'll say this time. No table entries were found. They're all table names. Okay. Let me try to provide manually Z830 TMF group. I am providing it manually. Let's see will accept or not. So what is the authorization group? Ampersand NC ampersand. Function group, just now we created a Z830 TMF group. When I press enter, yeah, it is showing $TMP fine. So this is a function group which we have created, but when I browse it is not showing. But let's see we'll recognize this or not, right? And what is the other setting we have to provide? Maintenance type. I can choose either one step or what? Two step. In one step, what happens? Only one screen gets generated called as what? Overview screen. So for the time being, let me go for one step only. I'll choose one step, and here you can see it is asking the overview screen number and single screen number. In one step, only one screen gets generated, na, called as what? Overview screen. So for that overview screen, we have to provide the screen number. Screen number can be any number between 1 to 9999. Instead of we proposing the screen number, okay, I want SAP to generate the I want SAP to propose the screen number. Okay, otherwise I can give any number. Manually, I can give any number between 1 to 9999. Instead of we providing the screen number, I want SAP to propose a screen number. So what I'll do, on the application toolbar, there is a button what? Find screen numbers. I'll click on that button, find screen numbers. Yeah. What is this here? Propose screen number, continue. Yeah, what is the screen number here? 1. Overview screen number is 1. Okay, done. I'll click on what? Create button. So what are the things I gave here? Authorization group. For practice purpose, always choose what? Ampersand NC ampersand, which indicates what? Without authorization group. Any user can maintain the table. Function group, we have created the function group just now. Provide that existing function group and provide the maintenance type either one step or two step. Two step we'll see later on. As of now, I'm going for one step. In one step, only one screen gets generated, overview screen. Instead of proposing the screen number, I clicked on the button what? Find screen numbers, and I've chosen what? Propose screen numbers. So after providing all these things, on the application toolbar, we have the create button. Click on the create button, which is there on the application toolbar. So when I click on create, it will generate the table maintenance. It will start generating the dependent objects. You can observe the status bar here. It will start generating the dependent objects. Let me try to create. It is asking me to save. Let me save it in the local object only. Yeah, you can observe the status bar. It is generating some dependent objects. So request completed without errors. My table maintenance successfully created. So earlier we had create button. Now we have what? Change and what? Delete button, because you have created the table maintenance. So just go back, activate your table once. So we are done with generating the table maintenance. Any questions? Okay. So once a table maintenance is generated, what you will do as an ABAP consultant, we will transport this table and the table maintenance to the quality system, and from quality it is transported to a production system. Assume that the table maintenance is available now in the production system. Now I am the end user, so I have to start maintaining the table. Maintaining the table means what? I have to start maintaining the data in the table. So how do you maintain any table? By using a T code called as SM30. So if I go to SM30, SM30, here we have to maintain the table. So I'll go to SM30, continue. Observe this. When I continue, SM30, yeah, it is asking table slash view here. As of now, we are interested to maintain the table. What is the table name? Z830 EMP. Provide the table name. In SM30, provide the table name and click on what? Maintain button. When I click on maintain button, yeah, I got a information message. Table is cross client. Cross client means client independent. My table doesn't have MANDT column. Na? So those tables are called as what? Client independent, nothing but cross client. Right? Continue. Yeah, good. So already we have some records. Na? So I got those 4 records. Okay, I got those 4 records. Now you can start. This screen is called as what? Overview screen. Here I can view the data. I can what? Modify the data. Ram is there. I'll modify to something Ramesh. I'll save it. It has been saved. I want to delete the record. I'll choose this. Click on what? Delete entry. So I'm able to view the data, modify the data, delete the data. I want to insert. Click on the button what? New entries. When I click on new entries, here only I can start inserting the data. So I'll say something. Okay, I'll maintain the data. Understood? Even though I give it in lowercase, I'll give E in uppercase and rest of the characters in lowercase. I'll try to save it. It is converted to what? Uppercase. So overall we have how many records? 5 records. If you go back, yes, it is showing 4 records because one of the record I deleted. So I got Raj and what? Employee. So in this screen only, what is the screen here? Overview screen. I can view the data, delete, modify, as well as create the data. If I choose system status, if I choose the system menu and status menu item, what is the screen number it is showing here? 1. Because I propose the overview screen number as 1 only. Na? So this is a screen number where we are working with. So this is how we will maintain the table by using what? SM30. What is the drawback of this approach? We have created the table fields, by using direct data types. Na? What is the drawback here? The character field values are always captured in what? Uppercase. And here, when I'm maintaining the data here, am I able to see any headings here? No, I got it as plus symbol here. So I don't know what each column represents. I don't know whether it is employee number, employee, I don't know that. But for the end user perspective, we have to maintain meaningful labels, na? Meaningful headings. Then only the end user can understand what that column represents. So these are the drawbacks if you create the table fields by using what? Direct data type. What is the drawback? I cannot generate the column headings, and the character field values are always captured in what? Uppercase. And apart from that, this designation is there. When I'm inserting the designation here, it has to show me that the designation in the drop down, so that from the drop down I should be able to select the value like employee, manager, supervisor. Okay, I don't have that kind of feature supported now. Understood? When I'm inserting the designation, I have to show the possible list of designations in the drop down like employee, manager, supervisor, right? So those kind of validations I cannot implement if you create the table fields by using what? Direct data type. So three drawbacks are there. What is that? Character field values are always captured in uppercase. I cannot maintain column headings, and I cannot impose some fixed values. I cannot impose a fixed values at the column level. Understood? So there are the three drawbacks. To overcome these drawbacks, it is always recommended to create the table fields by using what? Data elements and domains. Yeah, any questions, please? Okay, 1 second, please. Okay, right. So what is the job of an ABAP consultant? First, we have to create the custom table, and for that custom table, we have to generate what? Table maintenance. Once a table maintenance is generated, the end user can start maintaining the table by using what T code? SM30. By using SM30. Now, observe this. So, assume that I am the end user. I have to maintain the table. So, assume that I am having access to the production system. So, this is my production system. I will start maintaining the table by using SM30. So if I go to SM30, observe this carefully. Assume that I am an end user now. I'll give SM30. If I go to SM30, it is asking for the table name. Na? So end user has to provide the table name. Means we should share this table information with the end user. Na? So I have to prepare a manual. In that manual, we have to clearly mention that for maintaining employee data, this is the table name we have to provide in SM30. So what is the table name? Z830 EMP. I am providing the table name and click on what? Maintain button. I got the message table is what? Cross client. Then I got the data where I can start maintaining the table. But if you keep end user in mind, we should always minimize the navigations. If you keep end user in mind, we should always minimize the navigations. End user is the one who doesn't have any knowledge on what? This ABAP. Understood? So always you have to try to minimize the navigations. He knows only how to use the SAP software. He doesn't know how it is working internally, but he knows how to use the screens, how to use the transactions of that particular SAP system. So what is that he has to do every time? He has to give SM30 and he has to provide the table name. So my expectation is I don't want the end user to enter the table name. Means I don't want to share the table name with the end user. The moment I run the T code, it should start directly maintaining my table. Means again, it should not ask for any table name. Am I clear? So for that purpose, what you have to do is we have to create T code for the table. We have to create the T code for table maintenance. Somewhere we have seen how to create the T code for reports, right? So can anyone quickly tell me what is the T code for creating custom transaction codes?
SC93.
SC93. Good. Okay. So earlier we have used SC93 for creating T code for our report program. Now our agenda is what? We have to create the T code for table maintenance. Why we are creating the T code? To minimize the navigations to the end user so that he should not enter the table name. So I need to bypass the initial screen of table maintenance. If I go to SM30, in the initial screen, every time he has to give the table name and he has to click on the maintain button. Now the agenda of creating the T code is to minimize the navigations. How do I minimize the navigation? I need to skip this screen. I need to bypass this screen. So if you're bypassing this screen, somewhere you have to provide this information. Somewhere we have to provide this table information. Okay, we have to provide this information somewhere else. So since we are going to bypass this screen, I need to collect the name of this field. This is nothing but an input field. I need to collect the name of the input field so that I can provide a value for that name at some place. Similarly, this maintain is a button. For every button, we'll have a function code. So I need to collect the name of the input field. I need to collect the function code of this particular push button. Okay, so that I can provide these values as default values at some other place so that I can skip the initial screen. So how do I collect the name of this input field? If you want to collect the name of any field in SAP screens, put the cursor in that field. I'll put the cursor in this field. I'll press F1 on your keyboard. Press F1. If I press F1, okay, we have a button here, what? Technical information. Click on the button technical information. Yes. Okay. If you click on the button technical information, what is the screen field name here? View name. The screen field name is what? View name. Screen field name is view name. Okay, done. Similarly, I need to collect the function code of this maintain button. So put the focus on this maintain button and collect the function code. So I'll use, where is the focus as of now? In the input field. I'll use a tab on my keyboard. Focus is on no restrictions. Focus is on this input field. Focus is on display button. Now the focus is on what? Maintain button. Press F1. When I press F1, what is the function code it is showing? UPD. Nothing but update. So what I did here, I collected the name of this input field and I collected the function code of the push button. For input field, I need to collect the name. For push button, I need to collect the function code. How do I collect? Understood? Since I'm going to skip the initial screen of SM30, put the cursor here, press F1. Okay, go to what? Technical information. What is the name of the screen field? View name. And similarly, I want the function code of the maintain button. Put the focus on the maintain button. I'm using tab here. Yeah, focus is on the maintain button. Press F1. What is the function code is saying? UPD. Done. Now let us create the T code for what? Table maintenance. I'll go to SC93. SC93. It is asking the T code name. So since it is a custom transaction code, let us start with the Z. You provide whatever the name you want to give, right? So I'll give the T code name as something Z Z830E. Okay, so what is the name of the T code I give? Z830E. Some T code name. Since it is a custom T code, start with Z or Y. Click on Create button. Provide some short text. I'll provide the short text as T code for table maintenance. Some description. Done. Okay, T code for table maintenance. So if you are creating the T code for a report program, if you have remembered, if you have practiced, what is the radio button you have selected earlier? Program and what? Selection screen. Now we are creating the T code for what? Table maintenance. So choose the last radio button. What is this? Transaction with parameters. Whenever we create the T code for any table maintenance, choose the radio button what? Transaction with parameters. Continue. Yes. So we are creating the T code for table maintenance. So you can see here, it is asking default values for transaction. For which transaction we are creating the T code? For table maintenance. What is the T code of table maintenance? SM30 na? So provide SM30 here. Provide SM30. Select the checkbox what? Skip initial screen. Skip initial screen. Understood? Skip the initial screen, and then already we know whenever we create the T code, we have to select these checkboxes. SAP GA for HTML, SAP GA for Java, SAP GA for Windows. So provide the transaction as SM30. Select the checkbox what? Skip initial screen. Then it is asking name of screen field. Name of screen field. Name of screen field. So if you browse here, yeah, what is that I have to choose? I collected the name of that input field. What is that? View name. View name. So when I press F4 here, I am getting that list of values. When you are practicing in your machine, you may or may not get this F4 help. If you don't get also, don't panic. You type that screen field name manually. What is that screen field name? View name. In my case, I am getting the F4 help, so I am selecting. If you don't get, you type it manually. So I'll choose what? View name. And here you have to give the value. Value is nothing but the name of the table. We are creating the T code for the table maintenance. What is the table behind that? Z830 EMP. So provide your screen field name as view name, and the value is what? Z830 EMP. Similarly, I collected the function code of the maintain button. What is the function code? It was showing UPD. So if you browse here, it will not show UPD, it will show it as update. So I'll select what? Update. So if you don't get this F4, you type it as update and set this value to X. Set this value to X, uppercase X, which indicates that we have interacted with what button? Maintain button. What is the function code of the maintain button? Update. Update equal to X means it is understood that the user has interacted with what? Maintain button. Okay, so this is what you have to give. Provide the transaction always as SM30. Select the checkbox, skip initial screen. As usual, you select these three checkboxes, and here you supply the default values. These names are always same: view name and update. Left hand side is always what? Same. Right hand side, you give your own table name. At the time of practicing, what are the table name you give? That table name you have to give, and this is always X. That's all. Save your T code. So T code also is getting saved. What is the name of the T code? Z830E. I don't have any activate button. That's all. So what we have done earlier, we have generated the table maintenance, and we have started maintaining that by using what? SM30 now. But if I use SM30, what is the issue? Every time the user has to give the table name and he has to click on the maintain button. So keeping that in mind, in order to minimize the navigations, I created the T code for the table maintenance. What is the T code I created? Z830E. So run the T code Z830 in the command field. Z830E, press enter. Yes, I got directly the message table is cross client. Directly I got the screen. Means end user need not remember the table names. I need not expose the table names with the end user. You'll prepare the manual now. In that manual, you'll directly give the T code saying that this is a T code for maintaining what employee data. So always keep end user in mind. We are not developing it for our purpose. We are developing it for customer purpose. So the customer level at the customer place, we will be maintaining this by the end users. So you have to keep end users in what mind. So that is the reason we have to create the T code for what every table maintains so that we can minimize the navigation for maintaining the table. And while generating the table maintenance, we have mentioned the function group, and I told that whenever a table maintenance is generated, what happens? Some dependent objects gets generated. That dependent objects get stored in the function group. What is the function group I gave for my table maintenance? Z830TMF group. So let me go to object navigator. Let us see what are the dependent objects it has generated internally. So if I go to SC80, what is the function group? This one is Z830TMF group. You can see here it has generated one screen. What is the screen? Overview screen. Okay, it has generated some includes, many includes. Apart from that top include and UXX, it has generated many includes. It has generated some subroutines. Understood? It has generated some function models. So all these are called as what dependent objects related to our table maintenance. That's it. Any questions?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Rohit.
Sir, while table maintenance, how we can put the title for the column? Because right now there is no any title for the
Yeah, yeah.
columns.
As of now, that is a drawback if you create the table fields using direct data types. So if you want meaningful column headings, it is always recommended to create the table fields by using data elements and domains. So if you create them by using data elements and domains, we have the option to maintain the headings. That headings will appear in our table maintenance. But if you go by this approach, it is not possible. That is the reason. That is the reason. What are the standard tables we know? All those standard table fields also they are created by using what? Data elements and domains. Okay, that is the reason
Oh,
when we create the custom tables also, you always create by using data element domain. Just for knowledge sake, I covered it without referring to data elements. So that is a drawback, and that is what I mentioned in the what attached in the material also. Material I have not yet shared. This complete dictionary objects material I have not yet shared. I'll do it very soon. So if you see this complete dictionary objects material, yeah, you can mute your speakers, Rohit. Yeah, you can see here I clearly mentioned a table field can be created in two ways. What are they? By using direct data types and by using data elements and what? Domains. Data elements and domains is what recommended, right? So if you scroll down here, yeah, already I explained all this in yesterday. So if you scroll down somewhere, I might have mentioned the drawbacks. Yeah, limitations of what? Table fields creation using direct data types. What is that? Always the character field values are captured in what? Uppercase. We cannot impose validations on what? Table data. Validation is what? I want that fixed values. Like employee designation should be either employee, manager, or what supervisor. I should get it as a drop down. Those kind of things I cannot facilitate if I create it by using direct fields. And it doesn't support what? Reusability. Cannot maintain what? Field labels. Understood? I cannot maintain the headings. So to overcome these drawbacks only, to overcome these limitations, it is always recommended to create the table fields by using what? Data elements and domains. Yes, any questions?
Hello, sir.
Yes, I.
Sir, I have created a structure, sir, with types keyword, and I have created two internal tables, itab1 and itab2. For those two tables, work area W1 and W2. Sir, how do SAP know that W1 is the work area for itab1 and W2 for
No, no, no.
itab2?
Oh, first of all, why you require two work areas? I can use the
Uh,
same work area, na?
one for two internal tables.
Yeah, I can use the same
For
work
each
area.
table,
Not required. What you are saying is you have created something like this types so and so, and then you have created some internal tables. I tab one and what? I tab two. Assume that the type name is TY underscore EMP. So I tab one type table of what? TY underscore EMP, and you are saying type table of what? TY underscore EMP, right? And then since these are internal tables without headers, we require work area. So I can create the same only one work area. Na? I'll say W underscore EMP something TY underscore EMP. For both the internal tables, I can use what? Same work area. Why I require separate work area? Okay, and SAP need not bother about, and you are saying that you have created two work areas, right? WAEMP1 and WAEMP2. But SAP need not bother, need not know about which work area I use. It's my wish. For both the internal tables, I can use the same work area. For both the internal tables, I can use this work area. It's my wish because all these are created based on the same type structure. Na? Sai, is it clear?
yes, sir,
And
yes,
the
sir, clear.
lifetime of the internal table is within the program. It is not permanent. Na?
Yes,
So
yes,
when I'm looping, when I'm appending, I can use the same work area W underscore EMP2 itab1, right? And I can use append W and the same work area when you're appending to what? Itab2 also. When I'm looping also, I can use what? Same work area for both the internet. It's my wish. It's developer choice whether you want to use the same work area or different work area. SAP did not bother about that. Clear?
Okay, sir. So while using that work area, we have to clear and we have to do the
Obviously.
operations for that particular internal table.
Yes.
Okay, okay, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah. Yeah. Any other doubts, others? So what is the overall process for creating the database tables? First, we have to analyze what fields you have to create, what data types you want. Based on that analysis, you have to create that table. And while creating the table, we know what are the minimum settings you have to provide. We have discussed that yesterday. And we have created the table fields directly by using direct data types. And we have maintained some data within SC11. But end user will not have access to SC11 in the production system. End users will maintain the table in what? Production system, and end users will not have access to the T code SC11. SC11 is a development T code used by what? ABAP consultant. So end user has to maintain the data in that table. So for that purpose, as an ABAP consultant, for every custom table we create, we have to generate the table maintenance. And while generating the table maintenance, what are the things you have to give? Authorization group, function group, and maintenance type. Authorization group is what I told. It is a collection of users who are authorized to maintain the what? Table. Who are authorized to maintain the table. Am I clear? Sorry, this one. Authorization group is a collection of users who are authorized to maintain the table. So since we don't know how to create the authorization group, since we don't know where to create the authorization group, what is that authorization group I gave? Ampersand NC ampersand, which indicates what? Without authorization group, so that any user can maintain the table. So apart from authorization group, we also require one function group. We have to mention that function group while generating the table maintenance. What is the purpose of that function group? Whenever we generate the table maintenance, some dependent objects gets generated in the form of screens, in the form of function models, in the form of include programs, in the form of subroutines, in the form of PBO models, in the form of PA models. All these dependent objects get stored in the function group. And what is the other thing you have to give? Maintenance type. Maintenance type can be what? Either one step or what? Two step. I gave what? One step. In one step, what happens? Only one screen gets generated. That is overview screen. That is called as overview screen, which where I can perform all the four operations. So we have generated the table maintenance successfully done, and we have tested it by using what? SM30. So if I use SM30, what is the issue with SM30? Every time the end user has to provide the table name and he has to click on maintain button. So in order to minimize the navigations of table maintenance, for every table maintenance, it is recommended to create the transaction code. So I went to SC93 and we created the transaction code for table maintenance by skipping the initial screen of SM30. So if you skip the initial screen, what are the values you have to provide? That you have to provide the default values. Na? So we collected that screen field name and we have collected the function code of that particular maintain button. We provided them as the default values as part of T code creation. Then once a T code is created, we can directly run the T code without giving the table name. Okay, and you can start maintaining the table. Yeah, any questions here? Acha, one small request. Is it fine with everyone tomorrow if I take the class at 6:30 a.m. IST? Tomorrow, if I take the class at 6:30 a.m. IST, is it fine with everyone? For 2 days, for 2 or 3 days, I'll take the class at 6:30 a.m. Is it comfortable for everyone?
For everyone.
Yes, sir.
Those are attending outside US. Rashmi, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's fine with everyone, right? 6:30 a.m.
Yes.
Bhavani, Nandini, yeah,
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
fine, sir.
Priya, Sudha, Vasanti, is it fine with you? 6:30 a.m.
Yes,
morning.
sir. Yes, sir.
No problem, right? Okay. Right. So tomorrow what we'll do is, Rashmi, are you there? Rashmi, are you there? Okay, fine. So tomorrow what we'll do is, we'll have the session at 6:30 a.m. Tomorrow what we'll do is, we'll create the table by using data elements and domains. Okay, we'll create the table by using data elements and domains, and we'll see how to overcome that limitations. What are that limitations? That how to maintain the column headings, how to address that uppercase issue. Okay, those things will address that issues in what? Data elements and domains. So tomorrow we'll have that session at 6:30 a.m. Okay, chalo then. So thank you everyone. We'll meet tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. Yeah, chalo.